What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday.
Good
How you
morning.
doing, Adam?
I'm pretty good. How are you this morning, TK?
I'm well, man. I'm well. A little tired,
That is good.
but I wanted to showcase this mug. It's the official Appliance Alliance mug, and we are going to be rolling out some Appliance Alliance Service Alliance Group swag here soon. So
Ooh, I have to get some
I
of that.
ordered Yeah, I ordered some samples. We're gonna have all kinds of stuff. Maybe if we have time closer to the end, I'll pull up the store and show it to you guys.
Sounds good.
But this is something we've been trying to do for a long time, and I'm super excited about it. If nothing else, just so I can order stuff to wear, because I have two Appliance Alliance t-shirts
Yep.
that I've had. Justin Gandy actually had these made like way back in the day. And whatever wherever he got these made though, they're quality. Because I've had this
Nope.
shirt for probably, I don't know, 5 years now, and it looks brand new.
Looks like it's pretty new yet.
Yeah, it's a good quality shirt. I gotta
Yep.
ask Justin where he got these made.
You
But yeah,
guys gonna
how's
have
everything
hats?
going, man? Oh yeah, hats.
Perfect.
We even, believe it or not, we even have Appliance Alliance underwear.
I
Yeah, you can
don't think I'm gonna go
you
that far.
you can get this summer's hottest item, the Appliance Alliance underwear. And when I show you guys this, they're going to be flying off the shelves because they're pretty freaking awesome. I haven't ordered a pair yet, but it's going to be epic, man. It's going to be epic. But how's everything going, man? I missed you last week.
It is going good. We had a good conversation with Mike last week. I think everything went good there. So we missed you too.
Well, it's good to be missed, brother. We got my boy EJ checking in. He is the he
Morning,
is
EJ.
the brainchild of this swag. We're calling it the SAG Swag Store. EJ was an integral part in putting this together with me. So shout out to you, brother. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, man. I'm glad you like it. I'll make sure to send you one. He said, "Are you wearing them right now?" I have not ordered the underwear yet. I ordered 3 samples. I ordered the mug. I did order a new t-shirt. It looks a lot like this one, except for it says Buy Service Alliance Group, and it looks a little bit crisper. And then also I ordered a sticker just to see the quality. And everything that I ordered was pretty top-notch quality. Like, this mug, it's a mug, but it's,
Yep.
it's nice, decent. I wish it was a little bit bigger. The Tech Circuit one that Steve Morrison from the Tech Circuit sent me is a bigger mug and it holds more
Okay.
coffee. And I like a little extra coffee in the morning. Are you a coffee drinker?
I am not. I never really got into coffee. I drink too much soda, so that's why I get my caffeine from.
Okay. Well, we all
Yeah,
we all have our poisons of choice. There's nothing wrong with that.
exactly. Exactly.
I've been drinking those Celsius energy drinks lately. Have you tried those?
I have not. I tried to stay away from energy drinks. That gives me way too much caffeine.
Yeah, dude, that's like liquid crack, like straight up. I have never drinking a drink that, like, I drank one of those begrudgingly at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I could not sleep that night. Like literally
That's not
was
a good.
up. Yeah, I was up until like 5 o'clock. Got my boy
Ooh.
Matt Harris checking in. How you doing,
Morning,
brother?
Matt.
Appliance Alliance underwear now on only text. We need to do a ladies version too. We can't leave the ladies out. We got to do some Appliance Alliance thong or something. Well, there probably wouldn't be enough room for a logo on a thong. Maybe we could do some granny panties if any women still wear granny panties. That's just a joke, guys. We're not gonna do that one. Well, let me pray us up, brother, and then
Sounds good.
we'll get into this short scripture that I have. It's one that everybody knows. I I I will admit I did not watch the other two grinds this week. or the other 3 grinds this week. So someone might have already done this verse, and it's kind of like a key verse that we've used over and over and over again. But it fits so perfectly with what I'm talking about this morning, what we're talking about this morning, that I was like, I got to use it. So,
Sounds good.
Lord, thank you for another time to just gather together and get into talking about you and talking about business and talking about networking and all the stuff. Thank you for my brother Adam. Thank you for the rest of the Service Alliance community. Thank you for everything you do in our lives. I ask that you would be with us this weekend. Help us to take some time to spend with family. And we love you and we thank you. And it's in your son Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So Proverbs 27:17. Very popular verse. We all heard it. We've all used it probably. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And we've used this verse. It's kind of like our theme verse for the Service Alliance group, is that we're better off together.
Yep.
We're better off helping one another. Me and Adam and Dr. Dan and their wives started a new mastermind peer group last night. And that's what these mastermind peer groups are all about. Is getting together, sharpening one another. And I think it's going to really help me a lot to get back into a peer group. I haven't been in one for a while. I've just been kind of, I don't know why. I know how important it is. I just haven't been doing it. And my original peer group is over people.
I'm looking forward to talking to somebody about our stuff that's going on that can help me solve the problems. There isn't too many people around that can help me that know about appliances in our area. So,
yeah. What did you think of last night's first meeting?
I think it went really good. We set up all the rules and got going on coming up with goals and talked over some stuff, and I think everything went good.
Good morning, Andrew. Good to see you, brother.
Morning, Andrew.
Andrew's has a really great network of guys. He was in one of the original masterminds, as most of you guys know. And him and that crew, they're killing it. And here's our other brother, Dr. Dan Ibsen.
Dan.
He's in our new mastermind group. And if this is something you're interested in, is being involved in one of these peer groups / mastermind groups, whatever you want to call them, reach out to me. Let me know. I'm kind of heading this up. I don't know. I'm trying to keep each one to 3 to 5 people. But I would like to put more together and help more people. If nothing else, just help facilitate them. And put them together, because networking locally is important, but networking through social media is equally important. And that's not the topic this morning, but I do encourage you, even if it's not through Service Alliance group, even if it's through another peer group through like UASA or a local peer group or BNI networking group, whatever it is, just get out there and start rubbing shoulders with people.
Yep.
Adam, do you mind sharing a little bit about your thoughts on local networking and just networking in general?
Sure. I think it's a very important thing to do. We haven't done enough of it with our business. I had a family member that I took over from, and he didn't believe in doing it. He thought that being isolated and being our own little entity and not sharing with other people was the best way of doing it. And I don't think that way. So I'm working on trying to build those relationships with a couple of different groups in town. I joined a couple of groups of other business owners with different things. We have our plumbers that we work with. We have our electricians, our builders that we do stuff with. But we're trying to build those connections and getting us back into a place that we need to be. But it's very important to do it. so that you can get out there and get people to recognize you a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Especially the appliance stores. The appliance guys do the network together. When I worked for Mr. Appliance, we did it a lot. Up in Green Bay, all the little one-man shows, we would all work together. If we had an issue that we couldn't figure out, we'd call up one of the other guys and they'd help us figure it out. It's important to work together as people from the industry too, not just with other businesses and other trades.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love the good morning, Garrison. Good to see you, brother. I love that you realize that. You know, we were talking a little bit in the pre-roll about that old time mentality. And I believe it is an old time mentality where you want to isolate yourself. You know, you don't want to, you don't want to network with your competitors. You kind of just want to stay to yourself. And I could not disagree anymore.
Yeah.
There was a meme floating around. I know I shared it several times, and it said, collaboration happens at the top, competition happens at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I 1000% agree with that. Now, I'm not saying you have to collaborate and network with every business. You need to vet every single business you collaborate. I have guys that I technically network with, but I won't recommend them work just because I know certain things about their practices that I don't agree with. Specifically, and I'll just put this out there for you guys. One of the biggest issues I see in the service industry, and especially with appliance companies, is you guys do not communicate with your customers well. And if that shoe fits, put it on. If it doesn't fit, just smile. But if you're not communicating well with your customers, if you're constantly getting complaints about not calling people back and not doing this and not doing that, that is a huge issue.
Yep.
I would say one of the biggest complaints I get about other service companies is they never called me back, or they called me back, they came out, they did the diagnosis, then they never came back with the part. Or fill in the blank, whatever that thing is where your lines of communication fell. And I could get off on a tangent, but that's not what we're talking about. And
that's a whole other topic.
It really is. It really is. But I want people to think about that. Yeah. My communication is excellent, but it's not perfect. And I'm constantly striving. I'm actually currently working on setting up new systems for better communication with my customers. I want more automated communications because Beth's a beast. Beth, I mean, she's out there calling and managing those phones. I don't even know how she does it, but I want more automations in it. And one thing that I've done, and I kind of fell into this because Austin already had the ball rolling, is I have built my business upon what Austin already laid the foundation of, and that's networking with local companies. I mean, I would say it's probably in the top 3 things I would recommend to appliance repair companies is network with other local appliance repair companies. Find out who the good ones are in your area. Find out what they work on. Find out what they don't work on. Find out how you can help them.
Exactly.
Networking is the ground floor of business to business relationships. Networking is the seeds that are planted. The B2B relationships are the fruit and the trees and the growth of that networking. But you got to put in the groundwork. You got to work that soil and sow those seeds. If you're slow right now, I've seen a lot of posts in the group. If you're slow right now and you're sitting there wondering and wishing and hoping the phone rings, you're doing it wrong, buddy. You need to get your ass out there and start networking. You need to start calling around and talking to people in your local area. You need to get out to those mom and pop shops like Adam's shop and talk to those people. Let me ask you this, Adam.
Sure.
let's say you're in the shop on a Thursday because you're in the shop on Thursdays.
Yep.
And a young dapper younger TK walks into your shop and says, "Hey man, my name is TK. I'm just starting a business, an appliance repair business in the area. I just wanted to come in and introduce myself and see how we can work together." What would your response be?
I probably would sit down with him and have a conversation and find out how we could work together. There's plenty of work in our area. Nobody, if another place would come in, nobody's going to be starving for work. I'd find out what kind of appliances he's working on and find out what his work ethic is and maybe work with him a little bit to make sure he's somebody I can trust. And when I get customers who have a product that I don't work on, I definitely send them over his way if he's a good, knowledgeable guy who's going to treat my customers nicely.
And what are there any products you don't work on?
Yes. LG is the big one. I had a bad experience with them a few years ago when we were doing their work. I should probably reconsider that because that was almost 15 years ago now. But yeah, I just got a bad taste in my mouth when we were doing work with them last. Right now, we don't do a whole lot of Samsung because we're just too busy with serving our customers that we sold. Right now, unfortunately, pretty much the only thing we're working on is Whirlpool because I'm so backed up with my own customers with product that came out of our store that we just can't efficiently and effectively get to everybody. I have put a policy in place, though, that we do 2 service calls a day that weren't bought by us. So I think it's important that we still leave spots in the schedule. If somebody's willing to wait 3 weeks for me to come out and look at their appliance right now, I'm not against scheduling them, but they have to know they're going to wait. So
you're booked out 3 weeks right now?
I think when I looked at my schedule yesterday, if you bought it from us, we can get you in next week. If you didn't buy it from us, we're looking at going in the right now.
Dang, man, that is epic.
I need to get more techs on the road. And I have an entire room full of parts that have to go on.
Yeah. And you know, guys, we're talking about local networking. If you're a company like Adam and you're busy as crap right now, and a little TK came in who just started his business, and Adam vetted me. He checked my Google reviews. Maybe he called a few customers to check how my work was, feed me a little bit to see how it goes.
Yep.
All the LGs coming my way. All the Samsungs coming. He's focusing on Whirlpool. Mm-hmm. And trust me, if I know anything about Whirlpool, especially Whirlpool warranty, he's busy because their product is garbage. And sorry, Adam, okay. But it's all garbage, right?
Yeah, it is.
You're staying busy, and that little guy that comes in can slip right in there, be a blessing to you.
Yep,
you're a blessing to him. Andrew said this, and I want to pull this up. It has to be reciprocal, especially from property management. It's the worst when they won't reply or approve. And I want to focus on, I want to talk about the second part, but I want to focus on the first part. What Andrew said here is the key ingredient to networking and business-to-business relationships. It has to be a symbiotic relationship. It has to be. If you're the water buffalo, and that little bird, because I remember when my kids were little, they used to watch this Diego. Go Diego Go was the name of the TV show. It's about this little boy, this little Mexican boy. I think it was Mexican, Hispanic boy. And he would go around and have these adventures with animals. And there was this one episode that I specifically remember where it was a water buffalo and this little bird would come and eat the bugs or the whatevers off of the water buffalo. And the whole episode was about symbiotic relationships. And in networking and business-to-business transactions and relationships, it has to be reciprocal.
Yep.
And another word for reciprocal is symbiotic. You benefit from the thing they're doing, and they benefit from the thing you're doing. Adam wants to take care of – Adam, you want to take care of your customers, right?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Sorry, I got distracted by
Well, not a
Andrew's
problem.
comment. I'm trying to process the comments and my ADD's off the chain this morning. And you're booked 3 weeks out for non-store customers.
Yep, exactly.
When that customer calls in and their LG refrigerator is down, what do you tell them?
Right now I tell them that unfortunately we don't service that product. And that we're not knowledgeable in that product, and that you'd be better off finding a technician who is knowledgeable in it. And then we recommend them to an appliance store right now, a service company that's about 25 miles away in the next city south of us. That really does not like coming up here. But they're the closest ones to us that are going to be working on LG. LG is a big problem in our area because nobody wants to work on it. So there's you can't get people from Green Bay to come. You can't get people from the Fox Valley to come. The closest people that are really willing to come up here are in Milwaukee. So
yeah, and what I love is that you're at least trying, because that is a benefit to you to have another company to refer those customers to. Because at the end of the day, I just want my customers taken care of. If they hadn't, there's not much out there that I don't work on. But if you work on something that I don't work on, I'll refer it to you. Yep. We're steadily adding to our catalog of appliances we service. I think the next one we may be considering adding to our catalog is Hisense. We've actually been getting some Hisense calls lately, and I've been turning them away just because I don't know anything about them, but I have all of the tech manuals. And if you guys didn't know, we actually Hisense sent Service Alliance Group all of their tech sheets. We have every Hisense tech sheet known to man over at servicealliancegroup.com. So shout out to Hisense for doing that for us. We really appreciate their stepping up and doing that. But you've gotta network with these local companies, and not just appliance repair companies. Let me go back to I got to figure out what this means. Going old Chinese propaganda reference. Damn, TK got political. I don't think I understand that comment, but okay.
I don't think it might.
I hope I didn't get political. But if I did, I apologize. I try to keep politics off of this thing.
Yes.
Because let's not go there.
That's a whole conversation we don't want to get into.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation we don't want to get into. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Question for you and a question for the rest of the crew. And we did this a couple weeks ago with another topic. But I want you to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say your networking is? And you guys in the audience listening, drop in the comments your number. 1 to 10. How good is your networking in your business to business relationships?
1.5. I'm assuming 1's the worst. So
yeah. Well, 0 is the worst, but 1.5 is.
I'll give us a 1.5.
And I think you're being modest. I think it's better than that, Adam. I think that
it probably is, but I feel it's a 1.5.
I think that in the next few weeks of doing this mastermind accountability group, we're gonna reveal more and we're gonna, together help each other get better in this area. Yep. But if you guys are watching right now, drop in the comments your score. I'll give my score. I would say my score is at about a 7. And as I've said time and time again, networking will get you places where places where nothing else will. Not a college degree, not your smarts, not your credentials, none of that stuff. Networking will get you places that a college degree can't take you. And I'm not saying there's anything against a college degree, but we're appliance repair technicians. And my local network has been such a blessing. I was sharing with Adam earlier. There's a guy locally who's out right now. Well, 2 stories. One, a guy locally who's been out with some medical conditions lately, lots of surgeries and things. Really great technician, really good guy, really good technician too. And he's been giving us tons of work. And I ask every single customer, and I encourage you to do this too if you're listening. Where did you hear about us from? And you get all the different answers. Oh, I Googled you, you had great reviews. A friend of mine told me, I saw you on our, I posted in our local Facebook group. But time and time again, I hear RJ Services recommended you. Stanley's Appliance recommended you. I have guys locally now recommending me that I don't even know who they are. I don't even know how they know me. And I feel bad.
I find people are really willing to give you that information as soon as you walk in their house. As soon as you start talking with them, they're like, this person recommended you or that person recommended you. A lot of my customers, I don't get that from because they're customers that I've had for 15, 20 years. So I've known these people and I watched their kids grow up and I watched their dogs get old. And I know that they've been my customers since my grandpa started selling appliances. So those people, it's hard to network with them because they've been with us forever. But the new customers, almost every one of them, as soon as I walk in their house, they're telling me this neighbor told me to call you, or this neighbor said this about you, or I got your name from this company or that company. And they're really willing to tell you that right off the bat.
Huh. And that's word of mouth is another form of networking. And I didn't even think about this when I was preparing for this podcast, but your customers are the biggest part of your network. Those customers of Adam's that are out there singing his praises in the streets, that's part of your network. That is part of the people that are you're providing a service. It's symbiotic. It's reciprocal. You're providing a service to them. They're paying you for your service. But then on top of that, they're telling you about their friends. That's why I push hard, man. If you're leaving one magnet at a customer's house, you're doing it wrong. Leave them a stack. Leave them 3 or 4. Ask them how many they want. Say here's 2 magnets for you. Do you want any more? You'll be surprised how many people say, oh, give me 3 more so I can hand them out to my bridge club, or I'll hand them out to the girls at church or whatever. I love that, man. And that's just that proves to me, Adam, that you're doing it right. I know you rate yourself low, but I think you're closer to a 5 or a 6 than you are a 1.5. I think you're just being modest. All right, so here's what we got with the Chinese propaganda. The boy on the buffalo playing the flute has a seriously deep-rooted meaning. Look into it. Okay, so we all got to go look up this parable that Andrew's talking about, because I have no clue. The boy on the buffalo playing the flute. We will look into that. We got my boy Eddie in the house. I haven't either. I'm going to have to look it up. Eddie Pinto is here. He said, I'm a BNI member, and I give myself a 7 as well. Yeah, I would say just from the little I know about you and meeting you, I could totally see that, Eddie. You seem like a top-notch fella. Who's this guy? Saul? Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo está? He said, I love my customers, so I rank them a 10. I think I do pretty good in my area. Yeah, I think you do too, buddy.
I think he does too.
Do you deal with Saul?
I do not. No. I'll tell you the truth. I have a parts person I handed it all over to, so I couldn't even tell you who my rep is right now.
Yeah. I know my Marcone rep is Cecilia. She's a freaking rock star. I don't know who's better, Saul or Cecilia, but all I know is that Cecilia, really, yeah, those reps over at Marcone are top notch. I actually really am looking forward to networking with Marcone more, because just based off of my experience with Cecilia and my limited relationship with Saul and just getting to know him, that's one of those business to business relationships that I want to nurture. And we order a decent amount of stuff. They're our number 2 company we order from is Marcone. Number 1 is UED, just because I have a great relationship with Alex over there, and those prices are just amazing. But Marcone is extremely competitive as well, and sometimes Marcone beats them out. And the thing I love about Marcone, which makes them a strong competitor, is how good the customer service is from Cecilia.
It is.
She takes care of me. I never have to deal with her anymore. Her and Alan, my parts manager, Alan, it's all them. And they've formed a relationship. But they're just top notch. Dr. Dan said, I don't put nearly as much. Say that again.
When I set up our account with them, they did everything they could to make it go as easy as we could to get everything going. They couldn't have made it any easier to start working with them.
Yeah. Dr. Dan said, I don't put nearly as much into networking as we should. Well, it sounds like to me, Dr. Dan, I'm getting some vibes from you guys, you and Adam here. It sounds like one of our hot seat topics in the next few weeks needs to be networking. I know I have my hot seat topic for our peer group mastermind. I think I want to call it accountability group. I think that's what I'm going to start calling it, because we do our masterminds. The mastermind has evolved into a monthly thing that we do. I think I'm going to call these accountability groups. Yeah. Excuse me. Coffee ain't agreeing with me this morning. He said, Saul said yesterday was Cecilia's birthday. So happy birthday, Cecilia. We appreciate you. I hope and pray that you are well celebrated. I'm interested. I heard from EJ about how the MSA convention went this past was a week before last, but I'm interested to hear more
like that, I think,
about the MSA. I'm gearing up. What I'm really focusing on right now, which is another business to business networking thing that we're working on, is this upcoming PSA convention in September in Las Vegas. The Service Alliance Group is actually partnering with PSA this year. We're doing, I think, 10 business courses at PSA. We're pretty much heading up the business end of the PSA convention, which I first and foremost feel humbled and honored that they would even allow us to do. So we're putting a ton of effort into bringing some really good content. So if you haven't signed up for PSA in September, hold off just a little bit, because we're going to be rolling out some discounts and some promos and some stuff where you can save some money. But I highly recommend checking out these different conventions. But Service Alliance Group is going to be at PSA this year. We're going to be partnering with them. Just an awesome group. I'm going to have Randy and Mike, the two guys that kind of head things up on the podcast soon. I actually had Mike on recently on one of our Veterans of the Craft episodes, which will be airing soon. I've been cranking out some podcast episodes lately, so y'all be on the lookout. I know they're not flowing out as quickly. I dropped the one with Andrew. Hopefully you guys have seen that.
I watched that one.
You did watch it?
Yep, I did.
Andrew sounded crisp and clear, and something happened with my microphone, and my sound quality on that recording was absolute garbage. So I do apologize about that. It wasn't that bad. I apologize. It was pretty bad, dude. Like I was not happy. If it wasn't for how good of an interview it was with Andrew, I wouldn't have even posted it, because I was thinking about re-recording it. But the important person sounded good, and that was him. So I'll drop that in the group again for any of you guys that missed it, and I'll also chop it down and make some reels, because Andrew's a smart dude. He dropped some nuggets in that interview. Yep. Speaking of Andrew, he said BNI is an easy gateway, but really money tends to get you further. Sponsorship, buying local, saying hello only goes so far. putting your money where your mouth is the big ticket. And I would agree and disagree with that. I think that, it depends on where you are and how things are going. I would say don't spend money where you don't need to spend money. As I've said many times, I don't spend it other than my uniforms and magnets. I don't spend $1 in marketing. And I'm busy year round.
We spend very little.
It is networking is the key ingredient to that success. And I was so fortunate, and I want to continue to say this. I built upon the foundation that Austin already laid. Even before I came into this trade, my business partner, Austin, was already doing these things. He was already networking with the good guys. The guys like Brian and Scott Holt and Chad and Ken Stanley and all these veterans in my area, those relationships were already there when I joined forces with Austin. Ken Stanley, who's a veteran in this area, he's been doing it for years. Dude rides around in a Subaru Outback running service calls. And he's been around forever. Super nice guy. One-man show. I think at one point he had like 7 or 8 techs, and he got rid of everybody in his latter years and just went back to one guy. Just him. But he recently stopped running service. And it was funny because I never really talked to him, but we were constantly getting referrals. And one day I was just riding down the road. And some reason God dropped in my spirit, call Ken Stanley and thank him. Because I like to call the guys that are referring us and just thank them or do something nice for them. And so I said, I don't even know this guy's phone number. So I got his phone number. I called him up. His wife answered. I started talking to her. And, I said, I just want to thank you guys so much for all the work that you've sent us over the years. This guy doesn't work on LG and Samsung. He doesn't work on any French door bottom freezer. So if it's a bottom freezer refrigerator, he won't touch it. He doesn't work on microwaves. He doesn't work on dishwashers. He's very selective, and he did great being selective. And she said, TK, it is so funny that you called us today. I said, oh, really? Why? She said, today is the day we are closing the doors on Stanley Appliance. I said, what? She said, yeah, we're going out of business. And I had heard rumors, people talking about them closing their doors, but I was under as far as I knew, they were still running service. And Ken was actually there in the office that day, and she was like, do you want to talk to Ken? And I said, sure, I'd love to. And I just got hopped on and started thanking him. He said, well, get ready, man. He said, because we're shutting down. And he said, we're going full time with eBay. And as soon as he said that, I said, are you freaking kidding me? And he said, what? Why? He said, I said, I know you don't know me. I said, but eBay is my thing. Like that's what I love is reselling. Like appliance repair is cool. And I love appliance repair, but my dream job is to be a reseller. If I could, for those of you that don't know, before I went into appliance repair, I was a full-time reseller. I sold appliances, furniture, knickknacks, patty wax, and dog bones. You name it, I sold it. I got a shed full of stuff that needs to be listed on eBay, and some is, some isn't, some's on Marketplace. And then we started talking. And now I got an appointment. I got to set up an appointment. He's going to come over to my shop and give me an offer on all of my eBay inventory. Just buy it all in one fell swoop.
Wow.
Just buy it all. And I know it's going to be less than I can get it on eBay, but time is money. If I can get rid of all this stuff that's been sitting in my warehouse, and that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Get out there and network. Get out there and talk to people. Get out there and rub shoulders. And then the icing on the cake was he said, well, get ready because we're closing the doors and we're going to be giving everybody y'all's numbers. He said, y'all have been taking care of our customers. I didn't have to buy this man's telephone number. I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was take care of his customers for the last 10 years. And now he's going to send us more work once he's retired. So that was just a little little cool story. All right, let's see what
Yep.
Andrew was talking about here. When you need something, try to buy it. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, man. Sometimes these comments are hard to understand. So what Andrew was talking about was buying local, and develop a relationship. More
Yep.
likely to advocate for a friend who uses you than who doesn't, to reciprocate. That's, yeah, I got what you're saying now. My bad. I completely misunderstood what you meant. And I 100% agree. Shop local. Spend your money local. You know, if you're not out there supporting small business in your area, don't expect people to support your small business.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that?
You got to be helping the local businesses, because if they're not around, you're not going to be around.
Absolutely. One thing that I want to do, a goal, I'm going to put this on my mastermind goal. One thing that I want to do is start my own local business networking Facebook group and only add my peoples, vetted peoples.
Perfect. Yep.
You know, let's see here.
I was going to say, though, when you start building the relationships with other businesses, that they can change very quickly too. Just you have to watch it and constantly see how it evolves. We had a relationship with a local plumber that was installing our dishwashers, and we had to end that relationship because they were actually wrecking the new dishwashers, putting them in. And they weren't communicating decently with the customers. They were charging the customers 2 to 3 times as much as they told us they were going to charge them. So just because you start a relationship with a company, and we had known the people who own this plumbing company for years, they started up when another plumber retired. They were his guys. They started hiring more people out, and as they got bigger, they just went a different route than they had in the past. And we have to reevaluate our plumber situation at that point and find a new plumber to work with, because it just wasn't working out for our customers.
Yeah, well,
so just because you start a relationship with somebody doesn't mean it stays a good relationship either. A good relationship can turn into a bad relationship.
That is so true. And what you just said is so important, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I didn't even think about it. While I was talking about vetting and all that, you need to have some kind of way to scale and put checks and balances in place on the people that you are referring. If you're networking with local plumbers, electricians, do follow-up calls. Do follow-up emails. If you refer for, so-and-so plumbing, make sure that they're doing a good job. Because the last thing you want to do is keep referring Joe Jack's Plumbing, and the next thing you know, Joe Jack's out there ripping and running. People go through things. Business evolve. Businesses, go through hard times and maybe start struggling, which sucks for that business. But if their customer service and the quality of their service goes down, you need to be aware of it. There's guys in my network that I used to have a plumber that I referred, and I was giving him tons of work. And then I was in a nice neighborhood, $500,000, $750,000 homes. And I had a dishwasher installed that I referred to this guy. And I love referring out my dishwasher installs because, they give me a good price. I make a little money. I facilitate the whole thing. It's a subcontractor deal that we do with plumbers. But the customer sent me a picture when he was done of a hole in the side of her cabinet, and it looked like he used a sledgehammer to create this hole. And that was the last job that I gave this guy. I called him up and I said, look, dude, this is I said, there's nothing you could tell me that would make me okay with the fact that you took a freaking hammer to the side of my customer's cabinet. This isn't like, it's not visible, but either way, it's inside the cabinet, but either way, it's unprofessional. So you gotta check up on those things. And a red flag went off because what if that customer hadn't gotten back to me? What if that customer had just said, "Man, screw this plumber and screw TK for doing it." And I went out there and I made it right with her. We fixed it. We made, we took care of her. Actually, I don't think we fixed it. I think we ended up settling on me giving her a deep discount. But that cut that network with that plumber. I've used him maybe a few times for very few things, and he's starting to work his way back into my good graces. But you got to stay on top. I'm glad you brought that up, Adam, because that's a key part.
I kind of had the same experience with the plumber that we had to get rid of. I had to give refunds to 2 customers because he overcharged them, and then what broke the straw for me was he put in a brand new dishwasher that couldn't be side mounted. So to make it able to be side mounted, he drilled holes in the side of the tub. So I have a brand new dishwasher sitting in my shop right now that has holes drilled in the side of the tub so that he could anchor it on the sides instead of buying the bracket to go across the top of the dishwasher, the anchor it so he didn't have to drill into the granite. Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, yeah, stuff like that drives me crazy. Y'all know I hate dishwashers. But I actually have one of those. I usually have one of those on my truck, one of those mounting brackets for the marble and granite countertops. And for some reason, I don't think I restocked it. And then I had to order one because I didn't have one on my truck. I got to go back out there because I went out. It was one of my property management companies had bought a building, this huge condo building with I don't know, probably 50, 60 units in it. And every dishwasher in that place is not installed correctly. And so we're eventually going to have to go through it. I'm probably going to sub it out because I just don't even want to mess with it. I don't know. We might do it ourselves, but every single one of them is just going to need that bracket to be installed correctly. And, I'm not going to rape them on it by any means of the word. That's probably not a good word to use. I'm not going to take advantage of them by any means of the word, but I'm definitely going to get paid well. And it'll be bam, 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 bam all day, just putting in freaking dishwasher mounting brackets. And I want to kind of wrap things up talking about this. The end of this month, I'm going to be doing a mastermind on property management work. And I would say one of the biggest networking business to business relationships that has helped my company is my property management companies. We put together a master list. We had one already, but we've taken on so many new property managers. I had Beth go back and put together a list and contacts so that we can do better communicating with our property managers. And right now we're sitting at 59 property management companies.
Ooh, that's a lot.
And it's a lot. And they are our bread and butter. And when I first started doing property management work, I didn't like it. We had a lot of really bad property managers. They made us run around to get our money, and it was a headache. And we were going into houses with roaches and just lower income homes. So what we did is we set up systems to vet property managers right out the gate. And that's the key. I'm not going to give away the whole property management thing. But if you are doing property management, if you are thinking about property management, if you are considering property management, I highly recommend coming to this mastermind. I've already got the whole presentation pretty much finished, but it's going to be good. And I'm actually looking to have another person come on with me that is also an expert in property management. So I have a few people in mind. There's a lot of guys that really excel. I'm in no way, shape, or form the master of property management, but I will say this: we've done really well. And the reason we've done really well in property management is because of the systems and the processes and the procedures that we've put in place to weed out the bad ones, to get rid of the slumlords. They're just something else. Is this who I think it is? Is that Reggie? I can't tell. That's Reggie's YouTube page, isn't it? Washer dryer. Yeah, that's Reggie. What's up, Reggie? Good morning, brother. How are you
I
today?
can't tell
Always
from
good
the
to see
picture.
you.
Good
Yeah, I
morning.
think I'm pretty sure Reggie's YouTube is washer dryer repair tips and tricks for DIYers.
Okay.
Good to have you on. I got to get you back on soon, Reggie. We got a lot to talk about. He's one of my favorite people in the appliance world. So shout out to Reggie. Crap, what was I talking about, Adam?
Property management
Do you
and
do any property
vetting them.
management?
I do a very little. We don't have a whole lot of property management companies in town. The biggest one here in town, it's a statewide one. I have very good working relationship with them. I think they have
Nice.
5 complexes here in town. They have their own maintenance guys. They take care of a lot of the little stuff, but their coin ops, they have me do some of their ovens, some of their refrigerators if their maintenance guys can't get to them. We have a lot of little property managers that own maybe like 1 or 2 houses. We do work for a lot of those. So a lot of the places here in town, though, they have a lot of their own maintenance guys who take care of that stuff. And they only get us involved when they get to the point where I walk in and they hand me a box of parts. So when their maintenance guys have goofed it up to the point where they can't fix it anymore. But a lot of them too are buying the product so cheaply in this area that if they have an issue, they don't even fix it. They pull it out and they put a new one in. I think the big property management company I work for, he told me that he's buying dishwashers for under $100 a dishwasher. So he said it's more cost effective. They're buying entire semi truckloads at a time. So he said it's more cost effective for him just to take out a dishwasher and have his maintenance guys put a new one in. So yeah, he said he's buying.
I gotta get that deal.
He said he's buying his stuff by the truckload and they warehouse it down in Madison and then they distribute it across the state as needed. So
yeah, well, when you're getting dishwashers for $100 a pop, I mean that's just you can't compete with that. But
exactly,
those relationships. And I say this too, going off of what you just said, don't sleep on those 1 or 2 property landlords, which they are managing properties, but they're not a property management company. We've got a ton of those, young entrepreneur. There's a lot of guys right now, guys and gals out right now that are getting into real estate and getting into owning properties and flipping properties and doing all these things. Those people are great business to business networking opportunities. One of the things that I do, and I'm going to give you guys a little nugget, I'm going to share this in the mastermind too, but one of the things that we do with our property management companies is we offer free or reduced service calls to anyone that works for that company. So one of our big ones is Oakstone Properties.
Okay.
They have thousands of rental properties in the Richmond and surrounding areas. If the owner of Oakstone or any of his employees were to call the office and say, hey, my personal refrigerator is down, number one, they're getting prioritized service because all of our property management companies get prioritized service. And number two, they're going to get a reduced and or free service call, depending on what it entails. Exactly. And I wouldn't advertise free service call for them, but I would definitely let them know, like when you're pitching to these property managers, let them know, like, hey, one of the perks of using us is that you and any of your employees within this property management company are going to get a reduced service, a drastically reduced service fee when we come out to work on your personal stuff. Because let me stop there because I'm gonna give away the I'm gonna give away the cow if I keep talking. Yeah, I want you guys to come to the mastermind. But what would you say? Let's wrap it up with this, Adam.
Sure.
What would you say if you were to put some actionable steps together? What would you say is one actionable step that you could put into place in the next week or so to take that 1.5 score to say a 4 or 5 in your eyes?
I'm not quite sure. I don't know where I would begin to try to get that up. It's one of those things I've never really given it much thought, and I should probably give it more thought. Um, that is a very good question because I'm just not quite sure where I would begin with that.
Let me ask you this question. Let me give you a follow-up question since
Sure.
you're unsure. Is there any businesses in your area that you think you could start networking with, that you could form that reciprocal symbiotic relationship with?
With that being said, I should say we are trying to build better relationships with the contractors, the builders in our area. We're going to try putting together builder packages for the appliances for new homes, and send them to them so that we can try to get some of that business to stay local instead of going the Green Bay or the Fox Valley or Milwaukee, where they get big deals for big discounts for buying everything in the home at one time. I can say too that I'm working with the contractor that's building my house right now, and he did not have an appliance guy. And since he started working with us, we've been working with him too on getting his home set up with appliances. He's putting up a subdivision in town right now, and he's also looking at putting up another subdivision with affordable housing. So he wants to take the house I designed and he wants to scale it into a subdivision. So and keep the cost of the house under 300,000 to build. So he's going to need appliances for all those houses too. So I'm working with him on that. So I guess I am doing it, and I just don't realize it.
Dude, you're doing it and you don't even realize. And I think that's one thing that we often miss. You know, we talk about these things and we're like, well, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. But when you really think about it, you are.
Yeah.
But the thing, the key ingredient is getting around this mastermind. I truly believe that our accountability group is going to be a huge blessing to all of the people involved. I think me, you, and Dr. Dan next year this time we're going to look back at April of this year and we'll be like, wow, look at where we've come from. Like me, I don't want to scale my business any bigger. I just want to make it better. I want to make it more efficient. I want to make it run smoother. I want to make it more profitable. And whatever your goal is, when you get into these networking groups, when you get into these accountability and peer groups, it just gets you around other like-minded dudes. Me and Dr. Dan and his beautiful wife, Marion, and Adam and Renee. Renee is Adam's beautiful wife that joined us last night. And it's just such a blessing to sit in community with other guys. I've never met Adam in person, but he's a brother of the craft. And you know, oftentimes we sit there and think we don't have any knowledge to share. Well, first of all, that's a bunch of bull crap. You have knowledge to share. Adam, you've been doing this for how many years?
I think about 25 years now.
25 years. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you've learned some stuff. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you've made some mistakes. You've fixed some mistakes. You know what to do. I always tell people, I told the guys last night in the mastermind, I said, if you want to know what not to do in an appliance repair company, come talk to TK. Because if you name it, I've done it. I've made all them, and you've been in it 15 years longer than me. So we all have these things, and that's the beauty of networking. You get around other people, whether it's other appliance techs, whether it's other tradesmen, whether it's somebody from Marcone, whether it's somebody from whoever, wherever. Just get out there and start rubbing shoulders with people. But this is Reggie, my boy Reggie. He said, yes, sir. It is him. If you guys aren't following Reggie, follow him. He is no longer with Encompass anymore. He is venturing off into two horizons. So one of my favorite things about Encompass, well, no, let me rephrase that. Two favorite things about Encompass was Reggie and Easy Stock. So they just lost one of my favorite things that they had. But please keep Reggie in your prayers as he goes out on his new ventures. He has been a very valuable friend and acquaintance partner with the Service Alliance Group. So we wish you the best in your endeavors, brother. Encompass really lost a rock star when they lost you. So I wish you the best in your endeavors, and
Do you know what
we
he's
wish the
doing
best
now?
for. I'm not sure what he's doing. I think he's going on vacation and going to take some time to reflect, and we'll keep you updated on what he does. But I want to personally thank you for everything you've done before Encompass, during Encompass, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing where God takes you next, brother. So you are in
Yep.
my prayer, and for the rest of you guys out there, please keep Reggie and his family lifted up. Because that's exciting, man. You know, new chapters in life are always exciting. And I know that God has a place for him somewhere out there that's going to be even better than the awesome work he was doing at Encompass. So sweet. And I'm going to be having him on the show here soon. I might do a podcast episode, but we might want to do a live. We might just want to have him on a Friday for a special Friday just to keep everybody up to date. Because one thing I know
I
is
don't
that
think I ever talked with him.
oh, dude, Reggie's the freaking best, man. Like if you like cool people, smoking cigars and talking shop, he's the guy to go around. Like he's a good dude.
We'll
So
have
yeah,
to have
we're
him
gonna
on with
have
us.
to have yeah, you're gonna have to have him on, man. Maybe me and you can get him on and pick his brain. That way you can meet him as well. We are officially
Exactly.
a minute over 9:00. You got any closing thoughts or anything like that, Adam?
The only thing I would say is just keep building those communications, especially with other appliance people, because I know I have friends all around northeastern Wisconsin, and when one runs into a problem like TK was saying, we all call each other when we learn something new or we see something we've never seen before. When we have issues, we communicate it with each other so that the other ones don't make those mistakes. Just having a network of appliance technicians with you and working with you sometimes can be better than a tech line to call. And if you have an issue, these guys are there to have your back. Some of these guys I'd be lost without, especially when I get in the products I don't see every day. I can call them up and they can tell me what I'm looking at and give me hints and tips about what I should be doing with it that I wouldn't have ever known, and I would have had to learn all on my own. And made the same mistakes they made. So those networks, especially amongst the appliance industry, are very important to have.
Amen, brother. I want to say this in closing. Me, Adam, and Dr. Dan, we're shooting for world domination. And all of the rest of you appliance repair companies out there that think you're doing it big, thinking you're doing it right, we're coming for you. We're taking you down. I'm just joking. No, we're here to help you. We're here to love you. And I want to say this in closing on a serious note. That was a joke from last night's Mastermind. I want to say this in closing, and this is the most important part of networking. Give more than you receive. If you want to be a great networker, your goal should be to help others. And God will bless your socks off. God will bless your socks off. Your network will bless your socks off. And the Service Alliance Group, the Appliance Alliance Group, the community that we have built is living proof of that. When I started this thing in the very early ages of the Appliance Apprentice Group, my sole intention, my only desire was to help other techs and business owners. That's what I wanted to do. And God has blessed it so much. I've failed miserably along the way. I've made huge mistakes. I've done things I shouldn't have. I've made choices that weren't such great choices. But it's because I believe that myself, my partners, and the people that we are partnered and affiliated with are here to help elevate the industry. That's our goal. So if that's your goal, we appreciate you being around here. We appreciate you helping. We appreciate you being part of this community. And just in ending, I want to say this is like my third ending, but in ending, I want to say this: don't look down on the little guys in your area. Bring them in. I was the little guy. I still am a little guy, but don't be afraid to help those little guys. I want to encourage you business owners out there. Find that new guy, whether it's a new plumber, new electrician, new HVAC, new appliance repair, whatever. Go out there and network with those new little guys. Help them out. I got a brother that's a plumber. He's venturing out on his own, and I just keep reaching out to him like, hey, man, anything you need, I'm here for you. If you need to just pick my brain, whatever you need, he's killing it already. But go out there and help somebody. Go out there and help a young business owner. If you've been in business for 5 years, there's a 1-year veteran out there that could really use your camaraderie and friendship.
Yep.
So go out there and love some people, do some good this weekend. And thank you again, Adam, for joining me.
Not a problem. Anytime. I enjoy this on Friday mornings. Breaks up the week.
I do. I do too, man. It's a great way to end the work week. Well, we'll see you guys later. As I said earlier, please continue to keep my brother Reggie in your prayers as he goes into this new venture. And please keep the entire Service Alliance community in your prayers. If there's anything that I can be praying for you specifically, if you ever have something going on in your life and you're like, man, I just need the saints praying for me. Not that I'm a saint, but I just need the people of God praying for me. Let me know. I love to pray for people. I love to lift other people up in prayer. So if you ever need prayers, feel free to reach out to me. I pray a blanket prayer for the Service Alliance community every single day. But I would love to be praying for you specifically as well. And please keep me in your prayers because I always need more prayers as well. So love you guys. Have a great weekend, and we will catch you next Friday.
See you next Friday. Bye.